All right, this is the honors pre-calculus, the part 2 of chapter 7.6, the half angle formulas. So here are you guys gonna see the half angle formula for the sine function, and noticing that there's a positive and negative. So I'm gonna show you guys how to determine whether it's gonna be positive or negative. Okay, so which one to use? First of all, sine 22.5. So it's going to be right here in quadrant 1, right? You know that sine is basically y. In this case, y is a positive in quadrant 1. So we're going to be using positive. All right. So know that sine 22.5 is sine 45 over 2. So which means that in this case, with theta, we're going to be using 45 degrees. Okay. So the ratio is 1 radical 2. Okay, so now let's just go ahead and use the formula. Okay, it's going to be a positive square root of 1 minus cosine 45 degrees divided by 2. Okay, so positive square root, don't have to worry about the positive sign no more. So 1 minus cosine 45. So cosine 45 is going to be 1 over rad 2. Okay, everything divided by 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to multiply by rad2 over rad2. I'm not rationalizing anything, okay? The reason I'm doing this is because I just want to make sure that there's no more fractions. So what that does is you're going to see me having rad2 minus 1, see, no more fraction, over 2 rad2. But now we got a radical on the bottom, so I have to multiply another rad2 over rad2. Okay, so now this second rad2 over rad2 is to rationalize the denominator. So square root, now I have 2 minus rad2 over 4. Okay, now you can just simplify that to square root of 2 minus rad2 over radical 4, which radical 4 is going to be 2. So that's going to be your answer. Let's check out the next one. 195. Okay, so you know that sine is y, right? In this case, y is a negative. So we're going to be using the negative from the formula. And you know that sine 195 is basically saying 390 over 2. Okay, so theta is going to be 390. So 390, let's write down all three sides. So it's going to be 3, radical 3, 1, and 2 over here. All right, so let's apply the formula. So we're going to be using negative square root 1 minus cosine 390 over 2. Okay, so that's basically saying negative square root of, let me put it on the bottom actually. So that's going to be negative square root 1 minus rad 3 over 2 over 2. Okay, so I'm going to multiply 2 over 2 to eliminate all the fractions. So that's going to give me negative square root 2 minus rad 3 over 4. Okay, go ahead and simplify to negative square root of 2 minus rad 3 over 2. That's your answer right there. All right, let's check out the one for the cosine function. It's very similar to the sine function. Let's get started. Okay, so let's see. Cosine 22.5. Okay, so 22.5 degrees is in quadrant 1. So this time, you know, cosine is about x. So x in this case is going to be positive. So we're going to be using the positive of the formula. So know that the cosine 22.5 is 45 over 2. Okay, so theta, we're going to be using 45 degrees. So the ratios are 1 radical 2. Go ahead and we're going to be using the positive square root 1 plus cosine 45. Okay, over 2. So square root of 1 plus, so cosine 45 is going to be 1 over rad 2 over 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is multiply by rad 2 over rad 2. Okay, that allows me to eliminate all the fractions. Okay, so this is going to be square root. So rad 2 plus 1 over 2 rad 2. But now I got a rad 2 on the bottom, so I'm going to multiply by rad 2 over rad 2 one more time. So this is going to give me positive square root 2 plus rad 2. Okay, and then over 4. Okay, so you can simplify this to square root of 2 plus rad 2 over 2. And that's going to be your answer. Okay, so let's check out another one. So cosine 165. So we know that 165 is in quadrant 2. So 165 over here. And now the x is going to be a negative. Okay, so cosine 165, think of it as cosine 330 over 2. Okay, so 330, my theta is 330. So that's going to be in quadrant 4. And then let's list out the all three sides. So it's going to be rad 3 over here and then negative 1 over here. Okay, sorry that I forgot to put the formula for you here, but I'm going to show you. This is going to be applying the negative. We're going to be using the negative. Let's see if I have the formula. No, I don't have the formula here. Okay, so we're going to be using a negative square root. Okay, so it's going to be 1 plus cosine 330, everything divided by 2. Okay, so this is basically negative square root 1 plus radical 3 over 2 over 2. Okay, so now let's just go ahead and multiply by 2 over 2. That's going to help me to get rid of all the fractions. So negative square root of 2 plus rad 3 over 4. And then you can simplify to square root of 2 plus rad 3 over 2. That's your answer. So that's 25. Now let's look at the tangent. So you can use either one of the two formulas, and I'm going to show you how to use each one of them. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do the next one. So in the next one, we got the tangent 7 pi over 8. Okay, so in this case, you know that 7 pi over 8 is basically saying tangent, I'm going to convert to degrees, is 157.5. Okay, and then that's basically saying tangent 315 over 2. So in here, your theta is going to be 315. Okay, 315 is in the quadrant 4, and it's going to be 1, negative 1, and radical 2 over here. Okay, so let's just go ahead and use the 1 minus cosine 315 over sine 315, and cosine 315 is going to be 1 over rad 2. Sine 315 is going to be negative 1 over rad 2. Okay, so we can go ahead and just multiply by rad 2 over rad 2 like we did earlier. And what's that going to do is I'm going to see on the top is going to be rad 2 minus 1 over negative 1. Okay, so this is going to be simplified to negative rad 2 plus 1. And that's going to be your answer. All right, so let's look at the number 24, the last question. So we know that this is basically 202.5 degrees. Okay, so 202.5 degrees is basically saying tangent 405 degrees over 2. So your theta, we're going to be using 405 5. So that's going to be in quadrant 1. So it's going to be 1, 1, and radical 2. Okay, so let's apply the formula. We have sine 405 over 1 plus the cosine 405. Okay, so here we are. So sine 405 degrees is 1 over rad 2. And then on the bottom is going to be 1 plus another 1 over rad 2. Go ahead, we're just going to multiply by rad 2 over rad 2. So eliminate all the fractions. And then here we're going to get 1 on top over rad 2 plus 1. Okay? Job is not finished. All we got to have to do is to multiply by the conjugate, right? So rad 2 minus 1 over rad 2 minus 1. And what I'm going to get here is I'm going to get rad 2 minus 1 over 2 minus 1. Okay? So on the bottom is going to be 1. So the whole thing is going to be rad 2 minus 1. All right. So here we are for the part 2 of chapter 7.6. Take care.